Good morning, everybody. This is Soma Datta from Assistant Professor in Software Engineering from University of Houston, Clear Lake. So my topic is focusing on both software development and communication. The reason I get to this topic is because I am teaching Agile software development for my students. And what happens in most cases is they are not able to communicate with the client about or understanding the client's requirements and communicating back to them. And that's where this topic gets started, where I thought communication should be a big part of software development as well. I also think that software development communication is no more soft skill. It should be a part of the software development life cycle that they go through, so that these software engineers can communicate with their clients. And and that's the reason this topic is up, and I am going to mention how this topic got started. I have some related works about it which I have mentioned in the paper, but I don't want to go over those in the video, where they say that communication has to grow, and even there are some graphics where it's graphs which says that communication lacks in the students that graduate from higher education. With this, I am going to start off with my methodology. So I am going to introduce saying that learning to write. So they are going to learn Agile software development, but they are also going to write it. So I am introducing the communications in engineering. We are writing. To learn. So they are going to write and they're going to learn. In my syllabus, I have the writing component as 35%, of which the 35% is a high stake writing component, okay, which is graded and which just play an important role in their final grade. But I also have a writing composition every class, where they are writing in every class, and it is a low stake, where it's just 10 points across the whole semester, so which is really a low stake, but it does play some role in me getting students engaged and students writing as well as learning. So these points, the 10 points that I have, is spread over the semester for each class. And my classes are, just to give you a background on it, it is 3-hour classes. And so they kind of have an opportunity to write as well as participate and take a break, and there's so many things that goes on in a 3-hour class. And so I kind of spread that 10 points across the semester for the 3-hour classes that we have each week. They also, when the writing is at higher level, they write more in class. There is a chance that they get some and so they get some kind of candies in class, so they can enjoy those candies with the breaks that they have. With that, I am going to get to the next slide, where they do this in every class. So this is where I'm going to talk about the low stake writing first, and then I will get to the high stakes writing, okay, which is what they do in the 35%. So since we have to I teach them user stories, we start having them write a sentence or two, no more than two sentences. So for the first class, since I get a lot of international students, and so what I have them doing is, I know they are off from their family and friends, and here trying to come to this new environment, trying to adjust. So I know they really would enjoy celebrating their friend's birthday. So, and this is something everybody would know. This is nothing new. And so the first step in their class is really to write in two sentences, no more than two sentences, how they would celebrate their friend's birthday. So everybody gets an index card, and with the class becoming virtual, what I had to do is I had to ask them write it, and then we had a discussion together as to how we did exactly in the class. And later, after they wrote it, they had to upload it on classwork. That's how I did the virtual part of it, which I haven't mentioned in the paper because we didn't go virtual then. So everybody gets an index card in a regular manner. They would get an index card to write about it, and they get 5 minutes to think and write no more than two sentences. I really am very I am very cautious that they don't write more sentences. I don't want them to write more sentences. I want them to frame their mindset with no more than two sentences. And the time I give them a target so they get used to the targets that they will be getting in the industry. So they have 5 minutes to think and write no more than two sentences. That's very strict in the class as well as when I did that virtually. So once they finish writing after 5 minutes, some finish it early, some take a little longer to finish. But then once they finish writing this, they kind of they are supposed to share. So when I did this in class, I was able to I would have them raise their hands to volunteer to share. But when I went virtually, I saw a lot of them do not want to share it, share, or they don't raise their hands. And so I told them, I'll just call upon them. How I realized that they are not ready to share or volunteer is because when the introduction was taking place, I did find that problem. So I started calling their names and asked them share, and then we kind of have a poll on identifying the best sentences that were formed from the writing, and that's where we start talking about how user stories have to be written so everybody understands it. So that's kind of the first class. I don't introduce any template or anything for writing and user story. It's just very simple that they're writing about just celebrating their birthday. And that takes me to the next slide, where I now become make it more intensive writing, and I have them use the user stories template to write up to 5 sentences. So now they have to write 5 sentences, and the app, the problem that I give them is you are developing a weather application for your grandma, and how would you do that? Because most of them are either away from home, staying with their friends, or staying in the dorm. Several different issues, maybe also staying at home. But then weather is something which everybody would really use. And so I would say that since your grandma is not so technically strong, how would you make a simple weather app so she can keep a tab of what's going on with you? So when I ask them to start writing that user story, I tell them to focus on the what, the who, the why, the how, the when. So they are going to focus on these predicates or keywords, and they are going to again write no more than 2 sentences for each of these words. So they get time to think. They have again 5 minutes to think and write. I did have sometimes find students that they needed a little more time, so I have given them a little more time, because sometimes it is like 5 minutes is too less for them to write that many sentences and think about it. I sometimes also give them the thinking part earlier and tell them don't write and wait. But with the virtual, we going virtual, that has been a little problem as to monitor if they are really thinking and not writing. And so I had to go ahead and have them give them a little more time than 5 minutes. And then everybody shares with each other, which they know very well they have to be sharing with each other. And then we again identify the best sentences that they are formed, that has been formed from it. So the next that comes, so this is what is being continued in every class, and then this is just low stake like I mentioned, and then I go to the high stake writing, which is an assignment. So they have this 35% of assignment, that's writing. So I'm going to go over broadly the main the biggest assignment that they have, or the midterm. So writing a midterm for these students, what I have done is, your midterm is a take-home exam, and it really worked very well with the pandemic. uh, it's a take-home exam. You get more than a week to write on it, but you are writing a paper. So what are you doing in this paper is you are writing something that you're going to teach someone, or it could be like a hobby or an interest or anything, or you want to teach about agile software development instructions. It could be anything that they want to teach. And they have to go via one of the frameworks that they choose. They also can choose a couple of frameworks that they can start off with, doing it in sprints, but they can also have a Kanban board to it. They can also integrate crystals, different color crystals into it, and that's up for them to choose what they want. But that is a big assignment for them, and which is important, because a midterm does carry a lot of percentage. And in this midterm, they have to write no less than 5 pages. It's very strict that they have to have 5 pages into it, and they have to use the IEEE format to upload the article. So all this have to be in place for their midterm. And then they have a rubric which they can go over and see how the rubric is going to what is that they're going to get from that rubric. So this assignment of the 35%, 10% of the 35% is really for the midterm, so which is very important for them to get it right. The second thing that I do, which is again a major communication assignment, that is which is 15% of the 35% that they use, is to do any of the agile frameworks. And this is again an assignment. So what they can do is they can either use extreme programming, feature driven development, Lean, Kanban, Scrum. They could do anything they of their choice, but then they have to use an example that best chooses the framework they have, and they have to be writing that using that framework. So really these are the most important assignments they have other little assignments as well, which is like 5% assignment, which and small little assignments here and there of the 35%. But the main motivation behind all this is that they get their writing skills developed as they keep learning for the agile development. So to conclude, I would like to say is students have had ups and downs in the class, but they have learned to write better than what they have, and they also have learned to use the templates. They have also learned to go to the writing center for help, and they also have done a lot of co-teaching between themselves, and students have been able to gain confidence about it. So with that, I thank everybody for listening to my presentation, and hopefully this will help my students to gain better confidence. Thank you.